And it's not going to be just me. It's going to be two more people, but I'll start with introduction myself in the end of the second day, which is also very smart. But my name is Julia, and I'm VP Business Development at Nevasoft, which is a Russia-based developer company. We make games, apparently. And we also organize the White Nights Conference, which is a partner of Athens Games Show. And our goal is to connect developers and publishers and all the folks that work in the game industry together. Kind of like what guys are doing here, which is amazing. And that's the topic we're going to discuss today for the next half an hour, developer communities and, well, how to break in the industry if you're not there yet. So first, I'd like to introduce and invite to the stage Chris Hamilton. Chris, please come here. Chris is a veteran in both game and community development, and he's currently a board member of IGDA, which is what?
IGDA is the International Game Developers Association.
Exactly, and Chris is based in Helsinki, and hopefully he will share that amazing things that happening in Finland with the community, right?
Absolutely.
But we are in Athens, if you could notice, there in the windows. That's why we'll have to touch the topic about the local communities too. And I'd like to invite Elena, who is the organizer, the main organizer of this amazing festival. And yes, she deserves that. She also has a PhD in
sociology of
exactly.
Video games. Yes.
Hi. So, hi, Elena. And it's great to have you here. Let's start with you. Could you please tell us a few words about developers here in Greece, about how many gaming companies you have, and you know how it all happening in Greece and Athens? Yes, please.
Yes. So, welcome in Athens. It's weird because we're going to talk about the game community in Greece, and nobody's here. No. Okay, I see some of them. Most of them
our
are
most
guests,
loyal fans.
which I think is something that deserves. It's a subject on its own. So in Greece we have many game teams, a few game companies. All of them are indie developers, and I can say approximately we can say we are 80 game companies and
80
teams.
companies. Wow,
Yes,
this
yes.
is not bad.
No.
But mostly indies, you say, right?
Yes, of course.
So, and do you have any activities to connect those teams together to let them see each other, discuss stuff, except Athens Games Festival, of course?
Yes, we have Athens Games Festival. We have to say that in Greece there's I think you have noticed by now that we have a really strong community. Everybody knows each other, everybody helps each other, so we have a really sense of community. There is no, I think, antagonism. It's and you can see it's a really festive atmosphere outside. But we have several events that helps networking and, of course, building this kind of community. So we have game jams, of course. We have, I think, definitely we have global game jam in 3 cities in Greece. We have an art game jam that happens, is once a year. And we have meetups, monthly meetups for game developers. And for example, using Unreal Engine or using, not Unity, but Unreal Engine start to have this kind of meetups. And of course, we have academic lectures that everybody who wants to know something about games, not more in developing area, but also in theoretical or sociological or humanities, they join us and we have a really big conversation. About
Sounds
this.
like a lot, to be honest.
I
I think before you sounded like more disappointed in, but it's actually quite many stuff.
Yes, I think we're doing a great job here. Everybody
All right.
here.
But Chris, could you please tell us about Finland? What's going on in Finland and why we invited you think, to tell us about Finland?
Finland, I would argue, has one of the best gaming communities in the world. We are the largest IGDA chapter with over 1,500 members, numerous game companies across the whole country. We're one of the few IGDA chapters that manages hubs, what we call hubs, which are small little city things across 12 different cities in the country. And beyond IGDA, we have the Finnish Game Jam. We have Fiverr, which is the Finnish VR sort of community. We've got Health for Games, Serious Games Cluster. We have Metric Mondays, which is for data scientists. There's a Unity meetup group that happens once a month. And in fact, there's so many groups and things have become so formalized with all of our activities. We have a group called Indie Beer because they got fed up with all of our organization and just wanted to meet up, drink beer, and talk indie games.
I was going to say, you know, whenever you go to Helsinki, it doesn't matter like what day of the week it is. When you go there, just, you know, you'll definitely find developers to drink beer with. It's seriously, it's easy, right? How many people live in Finland, if you know? It's not a prepared question. How many people are involved in the game industry?
In the game industry, I'm not 100% sure. We have roughly 5 million people in the country.
5 million people.
In the country.
In a small Finland.
Yeah, the Helsinki area is roughly 1 million.
Wow.
Basically, all of Finland fits in St. Petersburg.
Exactly. And we have some left. Yeah, that's cool. So you mentioned IGDA, right? That helps to do that, and maybe that originally helped organize all of the stuff. But is there IGDA in Greece?
No, there are a lot of discussions about creating a local chapter in IGDA, but we don't have that yet.
Do you think there will be any value in joining IGDA?
Yes, of course. He's the expert to say what are the benefits of creating a local chapter. The only thing that I want to say is like there was a golden age for the Greek video game. We had a Hellenic game design association back in 2008, where we have, for example, was Aventuring back then, which is a great, the biggest Greek company ever existed in Greece, with the MMORPG Darkfall Online, so it was on board and was like leading the whole association. But this went a bit wrong, and now we are trying to organize as a community again once more. So I think it's really cool you are here and you can discuss about all the benefits that might have as a community joining IGDA.
Exactly. So that was my next question. Yes. Like, what exactly IGDA do? Like, how can it help?
So I guess I'll just say that IGDA is an organization. It's a US-based organization that has chapters across America and all around the world.
Not in Russia, by the way.
You've got one in Kaliningrad, actually.
We do?
Yes, you do.
Nobody knows about it.
Well, you don't spend a lot of time in Kaliningrad, do you? It's a small chapter.
I once did. I went there for a few days, and then there was like a hard landing of a plane, and I stuck there for like 3 extra days. So I've been to Kaliningrad. Seriously, I don't want to go back. Yeah, sorry, continue.
Anyway, the organization is basically a membership organization. We're focused on individual members, so we're not working with companies directly. However, our mission is basically to support and empower game developers around the world to find fulfilling and stable, sustainable careers. And we believe firmly in working with companies because if we have strong companies, then there'll be job opportunities for people in the community.
You mentioned membership. So do we have to pay to be a member of IGDA?
Officially, if you want to become a member of the organization, yes, you do have to pay. But that doesn't mean that you have to pay to attend our events. So in Helsinki, for example, we have lots of people that are attending events that are not members, but actually most of the people that are attending are members because we have what are called studio affiliates. So Rovio, for example, will become a studio affiliate, and they will, as a sort of employee benefit, give all of their employees memberships because they understand it's valuable to have all their employees attending our events. It also gives them discounts to various conferences.
And by the way, Chris also works as a producer at Rovio. So I think it helps to promote, right?
Sure, why not?
It's good.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah. So, for example, we have as a country we have an experience on a local association, just Greek Game Design Association, not an international, for example, branch. So now we are here. We have among us there are developers. Can I see hands? How many of you are developers in Greece? Okay, not a big portion, but okay, thank you. So, if you want to, for example, start discussing and initiate again this conversation about organizing the community, my question is, do you think it would be more value to create, for example, a local Greek association of game designers, or something like here from IGDA, it would be like more beneficial to us? So,
let me just jump in here.
Yes.
And just say that I would never want to come to Greece and set something up. You guys know Greece way better than we know Greece. Anything that really comes up needs to come up from the ground. It really needs to be a Greek initiative. What the IGDA can help you with is sort of international networking. Chapters go through a lot of issues with finding good volunteers, fluctuation. Sometimes they sort of die down and have all sorts of problems. So we understand that we need to sort of support each other. And we've established sort of a sister-brother program so that people can partner up and address certain problems that they're facing. And it's really more about information sharing on an international level. And not everything that works in Finland is going to work here. Exactly. Not everything that works in Greece is going to work anywhere else.
Well, it's warm here, right? Not like in Finland, and light, apparently. But I was going to say that IGDA might sound super serious, like, you know, association based in the US, but basically those are the guys that work in the industry. Like I just mentioned, Chris works at Provo, and he has been working in game industry for like 4 ages, and he also helps other developers, right, to be together. So that's what IGDA basically does. And what's good about it is, as I mentioned, right, so if I go to Athens, I have no idea where to go, like how do I meet local communities, right? So thanks to you, we have this festival, right? Second year, and it was good last year, and it's so much better this year, right? So it means that there is a, you know, there is a demand for that, and it would be great to see more of that in Athens.
Yeah, hopefully. And for example, one more question, sorry, because there's a lot of people here, and I think they need to hear it. Could they, for example, being as a member of IGDA, find help for funding their projects, for example?
Funding is not necessarily something that we do, but
networking.
In terms of networking, you'll certainly find people in terms of how to do pitching. There are a whole bunch of different special interest groups. We run a whole bunch of different skill training things, from sort of pitching workshops, marketing, and how indie developers can understand the business side of things better. Like, these happen sort of all at different chapters kind of all around the world, kind of depending on where the need actually is. But I think one of the strengths of the IGDA is also the special interest groups. So if there's not a particular person or a particular expertise in your community here in Greece, you can tap into an international community of people that are working on health and games, women in games, pretty much you name a topic, and you can find people online that will be willing to work with you.
Actually, I'm sorry, let me make a comment about, so those topics you mentioned are very important, but I think like here in Athens, it's not that bad. You know, if you are at a game event and you go to the ladies' bathroom and there is a line, it means that everything is good with women in gaming, seriously. Seriously, there are so many ladies here, which is really good.
And we have a panel, a woman on the game industry, which, okay, there was an inflammatory dialogue online, like, okay, feminism in Greece, be careful. It was like, yes, Anna is here and knows what I'm talking about.
All right. What about people that would like to start their career in the video game industry? How I don't know, what's your opinion, how you help him here and how IGDA help those people in Finland?
Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and start. I think anybody that really wants to get into the game industry and then gets involved in one of these organizations, it wouldn't have to necessarily be IGDA, is basically showing initiative. If they're getting involved with Finnish Game Jam or they're participating in game jams, they have stories that they can tell when they interview with people. Just getting involved with IGDA, you're going to get exposed to a whole bunch of talks, a bunch of presentations. You may learn how to demo games. There's a whole bunch of skills that you will kind of learn over the course of your time volunteering there. But I think the most important thing is you're showing up, you're participating, you're building trust in the community, you're showing that you're reliable because you're actually committed to what you're working on. We do a lot to sort of reward our volunteers, not only in building teamwork, everybody likes to come to our events because there's beer and hay and this is good, but we'll organize sort of escape room activities for building teamwork. At the same time, we'll give shout outs to people that have done really good jobs for us, and there are lots of like C-level people at our events or HR people, and this also sort of lets them get some recognition for the work that they've done for the organization.
Is the beer free, by the way, those events?
Depends on the event. Sometimes it's free if it's a sponsored event. Sometimes it's not free and people pay for the beer. But it's usually at a reduced rate. So like in Finland, beer's crazy expensive, like €8.
But developers are used to free beers in Finland for sure, because there are so many events held and so many people are happy to sponsor that they're kind of used to that.
We are a bit spoiled, yes.
Yeah, you are. Elena, what about Greece?
Yes. First, we have cheap beer.
Yeah.
So that's a start.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
And great food.
And great food, I think. Yes, a good weather and okay, beautiful girls. Where is the girl? Yeah. Vasiliki is here. So
the rest are in the line.
Yes. So what do we do here? So I remember like 1 month ago, there's a person who was a software engineer and was saying that, I want to start building games. What should I do? What should I read, for example? So I think the advice that we give is like, we'll get you in touch with the community, because that guy has to talk with Vasiliki, has to talk with Alex, has to talk with everybody and start understanding how is to building a game means to get your hair dirty, right? So we're trying to build our educational community at the same time, and of course create more and more jams and more of these kind of events. So these guys can come together, build games, and inspire each other, right?
Yeah. What's the role of the game jams, and what is game jams in case someone doesn't? Who doesn't know what a game jam is? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, a game jam is basically like a hackathon for games. Usually it'll take place in a 48-hour period, time-blocked event where you get together teams of people, designers, programmers, artists, even producer people like me if we want to get involved. And we will concept and create a game within a short period of time.
Why?
One, a lot of people do it just for the fun of it. Some of them have competitions where the winners will win certain prizes. For me, it's an opportunity to work on my skills. So I work with people all the time, but I know how to communicate with those people because I work with them all the time. Here, I'm meeting all new people. We will fight about what sort of concept we want to have for the game, but we have to figure out in a short period of time what we need to do, get it all done, find out how to communicate with one another. It is just an amazing exercise for all of us to practice time management skills, programming skills, experiment with new technologies, and just have a lot of fun.
Do you have an active jamming culture in Greece? Many jams?
I think, it's more like, the thing is like we have too many jams. Like
too many jams.
Okay, there's this thing like it's too many jams, stop jamming people. But the thing is that we can see in the exhibition that we have many games that was created in a jam. So they show there are studios here, they're showing games that they was created in jams and they keep developing. So it's a really cool thing.
All right. Maybe there is a question that you wanted to ask us right now, Elena and Chris. No?
Yes, probably from the Greek developers. Something about the community building.
Yes, please. By the way, the person who is going to ask the question is from Greece, but now lives in Finland for many, many years.
Don't spill the beans.
So he can. Yeah. So it's a great spot to ask a question, please.
Yeah. For a period of time, like IGDA for me was a bit of a gray area. I went to the IGDA gatherings in Finland and all that, but little by little I understood how it works. But the question I have for Chris is the basis of organizing an IGDA chapter is initiative from the ground, let's say from Greece or from whatever other place. How is that initiative, like, how does that initiative get in touch with IGDA International? What are the ways people have to communicate with you and like join your organization?
Email us. We'll call you, we'll talk about things, and then we'll start an onboarding process. In general, and I can explain how this works in Finland. So we have 12 hubs. We have we have a lot of small communities that have small development studios, and we want to make sure, particularly for those areas, that they have at least 5 dedicated volunteers. Primarily because if you go with less than that, evidently somebody gets a job in Helsinki, somebody else kind of drops out of the industry, and everything sort of dies. So we figured with 5, we've got enough people to cover all of that. And then we just send these people out to canvas the local university. Is there a programming or an art or a games program? Are there developers in the area? And then bringing everybody together and kind of taking it from there. And then we want to know, like, we'll let them run for 6 months, kind of organizing events and building velocity before we really jump in and get involved, just to know that they're dedicated. So if you have an organization or a community that has been running events for years and you can explain to us that you've done all that, then we're really happy to onboard you very quickly.
Okay. Question for me. Do you think organizations like that should be focused on helping indies finding opportunities, like networking and stuff, or should be focused on helping people getting jobs and making career in gaming industry? And to Elena, like, what do you think is a bigger problem in Greece? Trying to, make a career in the video game industry, or networking and connections with major companies?
Okay, I think networking is much easier, I think, here in Greece, among the Greek studios at least.
But who do they network with? With each other?
With each other, yes.
Okay.
With each other. The problem that we had like 2 years ago, it's creating bonds with the international market. But I think this has changed through many different channels. For example, going to White Nights, for example, was an excellent choice. Yes.
I have some money there.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think for Greece, we need to work both ways. First, we have to keep building on the networking skills, so we can get in touch all these talented guys and go abroad or get to know and get in touch with publishers and international studios, etc. And at the same time, of course, creating maybe an online tool, a digital platform, something that they can, people that wants to find job, it can find, or they can offer their services, for example. So I think we need both at this stage.
Yeah, obviously networking is super important. I don't want to take anybody's indie dream away by telling them they should go get a real job. I think what we should do is we should kind of survey the people in our community, understand what sort of skills they want to be learning or what they want to have, and then try to address those. I know we had a lot of growing pains in Helsinki when we hit sort of the 300 and 400 visitor per month mark, in the sense that when we surveyed people, a lot of the old people said, man, what are all these students doing here and why are they asking me for jobs? And all the students were replying, why can't I actually get to meet any of the people that are actually working in the industry? And so IGDA has something called the Mentor Cafe, where basically people will sign up to be mentors, people will come in and be mentees, and they can talk about anything, any sort of topic whatsoever. Production, art, doesn't really matter. But these types of events are beginning to bridge those gaps, for example. So there are lots of different tools in terms of events and programs that we can run to try to address the specific needs of the community.
Okay. Elena, is there a problem in Greece with the hiring specialists? Because for all the companies right now in Russia, in Europe, in the US, everybody is trying to hunt for employees. And the pool is still very, very small. Lots of people, but it takes a lot of time to find the right person and to hire this person. And companies spend lots of money on promoting their recruitment and their HR brand. What's the situation in Greece?
So I think in Greece we have maybe 30 departments on computer engineer, software engineer, etc. So have too many people with computer skills.
Looking for jobs?
Looking for jobs?
We should send them. I know.
Yes, but I
know a few places where we could send them.
Yes, but I think most of them are working with in other sectors. Probably, yes, like ships, like... in different sectors of industry, not in the game industry. So we don't have so many people that are really expertise is in game industry. But this is changing, and it's changing because we are starting in the university departments have more specific courses on game development or game design, of course. So, for example, I think we definitely need new talents to come to Greece, so we can start, mingle foreign people, Greek people, new talents, these guys who are here to start working with professionals from abroad, definitely. Yeah.
But what do you think about the situation if some big studio, let's say like Ubisoft, right, or someone else comes to Greece and absorb all the talent? Do you think it's going to be good for the industry to have like big guys, or bad because they just, just spoil everything?
Okay. Personally, I think it's positive, will be positive, because it's like a big industry giving salaries, giving money to these people. So, okay, first of all. Secondly, will attract more professionals from abroad, so people will come here to find a job. But at the same time, we have to take care of all of the small studios. I think we have to find maybe some kind of policies or some kind of have to tender the community, the local community, so they have the talents to work with, because otherwise, I think a big studio like Ubisoft will absorb everything. So we have to be careful a little bit, but it will be really positive, I think, for the Greek community.
All right. Do we have any comments? Yeah, Tassos again, please.
I got a question, because I think it's really important to touch base on education, so that all the software engineers that are coming out of the university don't just think that their only option is to get a job like in, I don't know, IT or shipping industry and so on. The question is again for Chris. Is there a collaboration or initiatives from IGDA with educational institutions?
Yeah, there are a number of programs that, we're working with a lot of universities that are feeding students into our events. Some of them are required to come to our events. Some of them are just participating in things that are going on. One of the things that we're kind of addressing now, or some of us that have been in the industry for a while, is universities are graduating game design students who basically have no skills except game design. So we've been sort of strongly recommending to people that they focus either on art or coding with a lot of game design mixed in, so that you're really qualified to work in the games industry, but at the same time you can get a job in some other industry if you can't land that games job.
Thank you.
That's smart. All right, so we're gonna finish here. I just want to say that coming here for the second year and talking to the people around, and Chris probably supports me, right? That we can see that you have a lively community here, and it's definitely growing, and I hope that we'll see and we'll hear about great hits coming from Greece soon, right?
Hopefully, yes.
And thank you for helping doing that, right?
No, thank you. I hope to see you all next year, right?
I want to thank both of you. I've never been to Greece before, but I've had an awesome time, and this has been truly kind of amazing for me, with some unforgettable adventures already.
Yeah. It's impossible
and I've had a lot of
to.
conversations with some of the developers here, and it's really encouraging. There's a lot of spirit and a lot of energy here that's really good, and I love to hear that. And I just also brought you guys some finished chocolate that I want to give you guys.
That's
now.
nice.
How are you gonna give it to us? I thought it's for you guys, but
Okay.
okay. So
It's an excellent ending, right?
yeah, it's good. And our next speaker is from Finland too, so we can give it for the best question, if you don't mind. Yeah, for the next speaker. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming, and
Thank you.
thank you for coming here too. Oh, smells amazing.
You want to give it
Yeah,
away?
I'm not sure I want to give it away. I'll think about it. Okay, and we're getting ready for the next speaker in a couple of minutes. So don't go away. It's going to be a super interesting presentation from Kari from Machine Games. Okay, guys, we are ready for our next speaker. The last but not the least, one of the best. And well, looking at this person, you will never guess that he has been in the industry for 19 years. I'm giving you Kari. He'll tell more about himself. Let's welcome him.
So yeah, how you guys are doing? Super excited to be here. This is my first time in Greece, so yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm here to talk about what I learned, like because I did quit my dream job and started up my own company. So in the process of that, what did I learn? So yeah, I've been in the game industry like 19 years, mostly producing games from mobile to PC to hardcore to casual to indie to AAA. I do some writing too, time to time. I do advisor roles, mentoring, and so forth. Right now, I'm working at Machine Games as a senior producer, working with the Wolfenstein Youngblood, which is coming out next year. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about a little bit my story. So when I did start up in Finland back in the day, 19s, building game, it was hobby. There was no industry really in Finland. So there was the small companies that people just did what they did. So But that did change. Like, when the Max Payne came out, it was like mind-blowing. Like, this is coming from Finland, really. And then I just decided that, one day I want to work at Remedy. So I did have a problem. They did not need any producers, and yeah, that's a huge problem for me. So I decided to do something else. So I did, work in many companies, including Red Links, Fat Hammer, and Digital Chocolate Helsinki office. Digital Chocolate Helsinki office was quite interesting in a way that all the future founders of Supercell were actually working there back in the day. And yeah, and did work with those guys. And one of those, my colleagues at Digital Chocolate did get hired by Remedy. And one day he did call me. And they did need producers eventually. So that was good news to me, and I was lucky enough to get the job. So I did have my dream job and started to work with the Alan Wake. It was kind of funny because I did interview the Remedy guys back in the day when they were actually showing the game first time at E3 at LA. And little I did know that one day I would actually work with the Alan Wake. And I did work with the Alan Wake through whole production, both DLCs and also with the American Nightmare. And after that, with the Quantum Break. So it was a lot of fun, working there 7 years. But then I started to think a little bit, about the fact that, if I could actually achieve this kind of big dream, what else I can achieve? And one of my childhood dreams was to write a book. So I wrote the book called TMS Course of True Graffiti. It's about, graffiti gang who's been 3 decades at Helsinki area doing their stuff, and they're still active. So I did do that. Then I also, at Remedy, I just started to play around with the HCC Vive. And, I just find it was, super exciting. So, and that was something that, for me, it was it was like the future of the gaming. I was super excited, especially about, after playing the lab and budget cuts. So, this was for me, it was weird thing, because I did have my dream job. So really, working at Remedy. And on the other hand, I wanted to do VR games. So what to do? I did have to choose, because Remedy did not want to do any VR games. So I just decided, to throw away my old dream and start with the new one. So it was scary. It was super scary. And I was thinking many things, like what people actually think about this kind of thing. So, for example, the Remedy CEO was even hey, just do it if you feel like it. And same with my wife. She was super supportive and say, if this is something you want to do, just do it. But of course, founding your own companies, you have to learn a lot of things. I did found Third Eye Studios, I did find 4 more founders for the company, and in a way, it was a pretty cool team. So this was our stuff that they have been done before this company. So we're not actually doing the games first time. And we did have some experience of doing also TV series and movies. So that was cool too. And actually, one of our team members and creative advisor was, he used to be at Pixar Disney 15 years as an artist and art director. So that was cool. Top of that, we did have actually Rockstar doing music for us, so Ville Valo from him. So he has sold 8 million copies worldwide. So pretty awesome team. So you would imagine that running that kind of company is actually easy. You just do games and money comes in. But you have to really learn a lot of things when you are founding your startup, no matter how experienced you are. Because first of all, for me, it was my first time as a CEO. For most of us, it was first time having a startup. So we did have to learn a lot of things, and just how we run company, how to get funding from the government, and so forth. Our first idea about what kind of game we would like to do was this. So it was kind of you defend the house, and there's evil forces coming all around, and it's team effort. You can modify weapons and so forth. And in a way, it was cool, but in the end, it was also like wave shooter. So it was not really like that original idea. So we wanted to do something more. And then we started to do a game called Downward Spiral Horror Station. If the video starts. Okay, cool. So we wanted to achieve, and we did actually achieve a lot of things with this game. First of all, we wanted to have free movement in VR without motion sickness. That was a big thing for us. That's something that we did achieve, and that was cool. But we also want to, like, because everyone is saying when they do VR that, this is immersive. But we really wanted to, take the immersion to the next level. And wanted to also have co-op, because I just personally feel that co-op is so much fun in VR. And people don't think about it too much. And there was a lot of other things that we wanted to achieve with the game, with the storytelling, for example. And in a way, we want, because when you are running your own company, in a way, it's tempting to just break all the rules how you do games. And that's something what we did in many ways. For example, with the storytelling, so there's no dialogue or cinematic or anything like that. So, but the problem was that we were actually doing a lot of things, because we did have also ex-Unity tools developers in our team. So we started to do also tools for developers, modding tools for the players, and so forth. And people started to ask from me that, are you a tech company, or are you actually a game company? And that should have been a little bit like red flag that, maybe we are doing too many things. And yeah. And when you have a startup, of course you have to raise money. So how we did this was like old school way that, because we thought that we did have so original idea that we're gonna show that only behind closed doors. And at Reykjavik, what we did found out that, there was a competition. And there was, one investor did point out for us that there was Lone Echo coming out. And I think their team and the budget was like 10 times bigger than for us, our team. So yeah, that was competition. Luckily, that was just coming for Oculus, and we were planning also release for Vive. So what we did learn from there was that, share your ideas. Like, there's no original ideas. So if you have ideas, just share it and get feedback, because it's all about execution. Eventually, Downward Spiral Prologue did came out. And yeah, some press did like it, but also it was criticized the fact that, it was too short and the price was too high. And in a way, it was a good thing, because like, those are things that are pretty easy to fix. Just make a game longer and, price down, right? One thing also I did realize later on is that, because the whole idea when we started the company was that we want to make something popular that a lot of people would buy it. But eventually, I think what we did is that we actually did make game that was like something that we wanted to do. And yeah, and in a way, it's a cool thing to do, just the game you want to do, but also it's super risky. Then, when you are CEO, this is my advice to you. When you actually are hiring people, and especially you are planning to hire your friends or family and whatnot, think twice. I ended up like letting my childhood friend's wife go from the company. Never want to do that again. I can promise that. And yeah, it's tough. Like letting people go is always tough, but when you have to do this kind of things, it's not fun. Then when you talk with the investors, you have to be prepared, because in a way, you have a small company, you just started, and it's just you and your friends doing video games, and then you have to go to investors and say that the company value is 4 million, and in a way it's insane. And even like what's more insane that the investors start asking like okay, in 3 years what's the value of the company? It's like 100 times bigger, or how big is the company? And for this kind of question regarding VR, I don't even know the answer, to be honest. At least good one. So we did not have any money really in the bank account, but then I just decided after talking with some of the investors, we did get offer $500,000. And you would imagine that you would take the money. But our idea was that we want to have that kind of lead investor that would have also connections, that it was not stupid money, just it would be something more. So for many people this was a surprise, but we turned that down. Instead of my philosophy, my idea was that a lot of the people went to London or Silicon Valley or whatnot to raise money. And I thought that if everyone else is going that way, how about we go that way? And especially in China, there's a lot of excitement related to VR. So why not go there and ask, is there any money? So what I did was I did book 2-week trip to China and to Japan, so Shanghai, Beijing, and Tokyo. The funny thing was that never been in China or Japan before, and now I was going there all alone and raising money. And I think I was the only one that thought this would be like a good idea, but decided to do that anyway. And it was great success. We did get $1 million USD, so that was good. Actually, our lead investor was from Japan, Kulopol, and they were a great company in many ways. First of all, we were the first Finnish company that they did invest on. That was one thing. And also, they did help us a lot regarding the relationship with Sony, because they were both, Sony Japanese, Kulopol Japanese, and both big companies, so they can just a little bit do this, and we get service. But you would imagine that $1 million USD, it's a lot of money, right? But it's not really that much. When you're doing video games, you can actually burn $1 million USD very fast if you want to. And we were quite smart with the money, but my advice to you, whatever you are raising, be careful with the spending. And also with your personal spending, because you gotta have plan B and C if things go wrong. Then, when you are CEO in startup, you will get a lot of advices. And when you're doing things first time, you tend to trust people or following advices from the people that have been successful, making a lot of money, and so forth. And I should have trusted myself more, but they made some mistakes because I did trust some other people. So just my advice to you, trust your gut feeling. Also, what comes to getting money? Sometimes with the VR or AR or machine learning and whatnot, there's some money on the table. And next day, it might be that it's not there anymore. And same with the publishing deals. So we did turn down, for example, one publishing deal that now that I think about it, we should have taken that. But it's hard to judge. But don't look forever the best deal, because next day, the money is not there anymore. Eventually, we did release our first big game, Downward Spiral Horror Station, came out for Vive, Oculus, for PlayStation and PlayStation VR. And some critics did like it, so some of them even thought that this is one of the best VR games during this year. So that was nice. But financially, it was not performing that well. So the sales were not that great. But that was not my biggest concern. When you are founding your own company, it's your child, your dream. But one day, you might actually realize that it's not your dream anymore. Because when you start to invite people to the company, more founders, investors, whatnot, one day you just realize that this is not my company anymore, and you have to leave. So that was super tough time for me. Luckily, I did have some people that that I could trust and talk about things. And this is my also advice. My same advice to you is that listen with the people and just go and talk, because there's always some jobs to get. And also, for example, the Nordic extra startups asked me to be their mentor, so that felt good. Also, a friend of mine told me that the reason why he did actually found his studio was that he got inspired by what I was doing at the Third Eye Studios, and that felt like super good. So yeah, the stone just came out for PC and Mac. Go and get it out. It's super awesome. But yeah, I did also have like one more dream left, and my advice to you again: keep on dreaming. That was moving abroad. So I was thinking, I was talking with many studios from Osaka to Berlin and whatnot, but found it like the perfect one for me. Ooh, sorry. So I did join Machine Games a couple of months ago. I did just love the team and the project they were doing. So yeah, sold my house, car, everything, just moved to Sweden from Finland, and never felt better. So in the end, like, when you're at this kind of industry, you should enjoy what you do. And if you are not, you should just quit your job and do something else. And for example, just founding your own startup, it's like, in a way, it's like, founding rock band or whatnot. Of course, you end up fighting about money and creative issues and whatnot, but most of the time, it's super fun. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kari. Does anyone have a question? All right. Speaking about VR, when do you think and if it's going to happen that it's going to become a mass market?
Maybe in 3 years, 5, 20, I don't know. To be honest, like, it's super hard to tell. For me, asking from me, it's like I'm the wrong person for that, because like always been excited about the VR, so I just see that happening, but when, it's hard to tell. And for example, next console generation, it's going to be very interesting. Do the Microsoft support, VR headsets? Do the Sony support that? So, yeah.
Would you recommend someone to start a VR game right now?
That's tough. I would say yeah. So just go and, if that's your dream, just go ahead and do it. But like, it depends what you are looking for. Are you looking for money? Are you looking for fun projects, or what you are looking for?
Well, it's not probably about money yet, right?
Well, if you want to make money, go to mobile.
Well, it's not that easy. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, but I think you should never go like money first with money first attitude, because yeah.
Yeah, if you want to make money, just go work for hire.
Yeah, go to bank.
Yeah, don't start a game. That's true. Okay, we have a question.
Hello, thank you for the space that you provided for us. That was a very enlightening conversation that we just had here. I would like to ask you about something that you had mentioned earlier in your speech, when it came to leaving Remedy in order to fund your own company, and basically finding your own dream and stuff like that. I wanted to ask about how much that had to do with shifting dreams, and how much that had to do with like studio culture and crunch time and things like that. Like, was it influenced by the amount of work you had to do at Remedy? Because I recall that like development of Alan Wake and with Quantum Break afterwards, they had a bit of rocky development, so maybe that also influenced your decision to go and find your own dream. I just wanted to ask about that.
Well, I think in general, like, when you are doing AAA big projects, it's like, it's big thing. Like, after like big project, it's natural thing to start think like what to do next. Because like, many times you want to do something else, and it's like natural circle of things, and I think it's just how things are. So yeah, but I think it was just after Quantum Break, it's like every big project that you are working with AAA. After that, everyone is thinking like, do I want to do this again? Because you don't want to leave in the middle of the production and like that. So you really want to finish the project before thinking that kind of things.
Okay, more questions? No? You were raising your hand. All right, thank you for the inspiring speech. Thank you for coming to Athens. Yes, let's thank Kari, please.
Thank you.
And thank you guys. Thank you for your passion for video games. Thank you for coming to the Athens Games Festival. We are done for today, but I'll see you next year.